Hey, welcome back to Logical Republican. Thanks for stopping in again today. Greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to get this online as well, check out logicalrepublican.com. That is my blog. Some of the same content, some different content, and some content where I go a little bit more in depth, where I actually provide you the links as a reference to the sources that I may cite in a particular story. So anyhow, hit the like button if you do like what you see, like what you hear at the end of the video. The subscribe button, very welcome, and share it with a friend who thinks like you or a friend who doesn't think like you if you just want to get a charge out of them. Today, let's talk about voter ID. This has been all over the news lately. It's actually been a story for a good number of years because most logical thinking people believe that you probably should have to show some form of identification when you show up to cast your vote. It just kind of makes sense. Elon Musk posted something about it yesterday, showing that the countries that do ask for or require a government issued ID or an identification card of some form are essentially the entire first world. Okay? The United States is not on that list. So the list of countries that don't require a voter identification when you go to cast your vote are the countries of basically tyrants where there is a banana republic, where there are usually, riots or coups. Makes you think a little bit, right? Who's on the right side of history here? Now, think about this for a second, right? The Democrats don't want you to have an ID or have to be required to show an ID to vote. Now, I've been thinking about this, and why is that? Is it voter fraud? Are they afraid that voter fraud is going to cut down? I don't think voter fraud is that big of an issue. I mean, there aren't millions of illegal immigrants that are casting votes or that are like registering to vote, and showing up and casting a vote. I don't think that happens too much. But let's be real. There have been incidents where, more people who voted than are actually registered in said jurisdiction, or dead people voting, or things like that. It has happened. But their main argument against this is that, one, it's racist. Okay. Number two, that it disenfranchises people. And number three, it impacts disenfranchised folks. So the disenfranchised are double dipped here. Now, I can understand the argument, kind of, but ask yourself this question. Simple question. Do you know any person 18 years or older of voting age that does not have some form of identification? Think about that for a second. Okay, the answer is no. I don't know anybody who doesn't have some form of identification. All right? Some states don't require a driver's license. They require maybe a state ID, a union card, a student ID card, a student body card, a worker, your office ID badge, something along those lines, right? It's not that hard to get. Most states, in fact, if you do not have the means to pay for a state-issued ID, they waive the cost. Okay, so what's so hard about getting, I don't have a birth certificate? Well, where were you born? I was born in Boise or Savannah or New Haven, Connecticut. Well, guess what? There is a record of your birth, and you can actually, believe it or not, ask for a certified copy of your birth certificate. Wow, that's hard. You can get it. Okay, so for the 11 people in North America that don't have any form of identification, I'm sorry. Maybe you can't vote. But voting is pretty damn important, wouldn't you say? I mean, how many elections have been determined by literally a handful of votes? I mean, the Al Gore George Bush election was dangling chads in Florida, literally counting one by one by one. And that one county and those few votes determined who sat at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The margin of error can be relatively thin. So when you think about it from that perspective, and the reality that a few votes could swing a zip code or a county or a place where there are delegates involved, it is kind of a big deal. Now, think about this now for a second. Where have you had to show an ID lately? Well, I went on a trip recently, okay? I took out a few dollars from the bank because for whatever reason my ATM wasn't working. So I go to the teller, and what do I have to do? I have to show them my driver's license in addition to my ATM card. I took out some cash. I went to the airport. So when I'm checking in at the kiosk, I have to put in my something identification to show it's me. And then when I go check in the bag, and I drop the bag off, there's a guy there who looks at my ticket and then looks at my driver's license to make sure I'm me. Then I go through TSA. They want to see my ticket, and guess what they all also want to see? Aha! Yes, my government issued identification. In this case, my driver's license. Okay? Then I go pick up my rental car after I land. What do I have to show? My driver's license. Then I go check into the hotel, and what do they need to see? My credit card and my, yes, you guessed it, my driver's license. So for all of these things, you have to show a government-issued ID. Unless, of course, you want to vote. And then just take my word for it. It really is me. Shh, don't tell anybody. Come on, man. Just ridiculous. Anyways, that's kind of my discussion for the day. I just really wanted to touch on this whole voter ID thing. I mean, I just can't understand the logic behind not requiring an identification card of some form to actually go cast a ballot that impacts a populace, a location, a city, a district, a county, a whatever. God. Voter IDs, please. If you have any influence wherever, vote for it. It makes complete logical sense. Anyways, hope you like what you see, like what you hear. If you do, please do hit that like button. I would greatly appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button as well, so you can get this on a regular basis, and check out my blog as well, logicalrepublican.com. Hopefully we will see you again tomorrow. See ya.